So obviously the first thing we'll want to do is actually download and install IntelliJ. To do so, you got to go to jetbrains.com and or just look for IntelliJ. And so IntelliJ over here, you'll want to download it. Just simply hit the download button. I'm going with the community edition because it's open source and we don't need any of the commercial stuff that's going on over here. So it's completely free to use for the community edition over here. The non-commercial version. I said commercial over here. We'll want the community edition because it's open source. You don't want the commercial license. You don't need it. If you do find you need it, as a student, you will be able to have, get an educational license for this. But this is all we need. So download it, install it, and then once it's downloaded, it will ask you for some settings. You can choose the default. I switched to a lighter color. That's a matter of preference. But once you've downloaded and installed it, you'll get into this screen which says "Welcome to IntelliJ IDE." You probably won't have any modules set up, so it will ask you to create a new project. So the way everything is organized in IntelliJ is into projects. So what we'll do is that we're going to create a new project. You should be able to find an SDK over here. If you can't find if it does, so it's Project Software Development Kit. It's looking basically for the Java programming language. If you can't find it, just simply direct it to where you installed it. Right? For me, it was jdk.bin. Right? It's already there for me because I've already set this up. But you'll want to go to jdk.bin. And so for the next thing we need to do is just simply hit next. No need to check anything else. No need to check create these from templates or anything like that. We'll hit next. Right, and now we got to give our project a name. Let's call this Module 1, as this is the first module. And so now we've got a folder called Module 1, and it's separated into this. Let me go ahead and I'm going to change some settings now, just to make it a bit easier, depending on your screen. I'm working on a 1440p screen right over here, so recording these might be a bit hard to see, so I'm going to go ahead and up the UI size. Let's go ahead and do, let's change the, do I have it? No. Okay. So good. That's the default font. And I'm going to up this to 14 for the UI. That just makes it a bit easier for everybody to see, I think. The next thing I'm going to do is that if you want, is that I'm generally if you code for any amount of time, you'll find that I'm a font snob, and you'll probably become one too. So one thing that I do is that I use Fioremano. Actually, I use Fiorcode, which will do very interesting things. So, for instance, you'll see that basically if I have three dots together, it puts them together a very interesting way. Another thing that you'll see in my code is that basically if I have two equal signs, if I have put them together, it'll be one big equal sign. But it's actually two separate characters, and that's just simply a readability thing. You might be asking what the benefit of that is, but when I do a not equals, right, and I bring them together, it becomes this symbol, and this is highly contentious whether people like it or not. I really like it, so I'm going to be using it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to use it. Wonderful. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. You might want to up this font size. I, as you can see, have it quite large just simply because I want my students to be able to read this, and then after a while of just coding like that in front of other people, that's kind of just my default font size to be really large. All right, so what do we need to do? The first thing we need to do is we need to make a new file. So right-click, New, and we're going to right-click over here on the SRC folder, by the way, the source folder. This is where all of the files that you want IntelliJ to compile will live. Anything that you care about needs to go in the SRC folder for it to basically be read. If it's a Java source code, say you've got a text file, you want, as you'll see later, you'll want it to be over here. But for right now, we just want to put our stuff over here. So we right-click Java class. Okay, and we will just simply do, let's just write hello, right, to create a hello world. This over here can go away. You can click on it to lower that. In fact, any of these over here can just be clicked on to open or close them. Notice that they have numbers by them. This is 1, so you can hit Alt 1 and see it or not see it. Most of the time when we'll be working in here, I'll actually be working in a distraction-free mode and in full screen, just simply because it's nice and minimalistic and easy for us to just focus on that. But there's a lot of nice features in here for usability. So the first thing we need to do is create a class file. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we will start by, so it's already created the public, right? We created hello.java. It already created public class hello for that, which is great. If you didn't like that name, by the way, it's very nice if you change this to, say, hello program. It's automatically identify an error and say, hey, and it should be declared in, this should be, you've got something called hello program. It should be in a program called hello program.java. So we can rename the file, or we can change this back to hello. So this will rename the file for us automatically. That's great. Right, so one of the wonderful things about using an IDE is that it will detect errors and then give you suggestions on how to fix them. Right, and IntelliJ, by the way, you don't need to save anything. It's automatically saving these files for you. So I'm going to go ahead and, again, rename it. Boom, no problem, and it fixes it. Okay, so again, to write for a main method, we need public static void main string args, which of course I've got basically drilled into my brain after doing this a couple thousand times. And that's our magic incantation for printing out system.out.println. Notice that over there, that basically I just noticed that, hey, I could hit enter and it automatically just completed that. So auto completion is a very powerful tool. So it automatically completed that hello, comma, world. And so now to get it to run the first time, I just need to click over here. And then from now on, I'll be able to run it by hitting Shift F10 or by hitting this button over here. But if you want something to run in Java, really, you just need to click over here. Although, again, this was typing out, this was a bit tedious, we can actually shorten this process by saying PSVM and hitting tab to autocomplete it. Or, let's see, actually, does PSVM enter work? Yes, it does. And that will automatically do that, print that entire statement out for you. So that's pretty nice. Same with system.out.println. That's a lot. So instead, do sout for standard out. Hit tab or hit enter. And voila, we've got a print line there, and we can go hello. So these are just a number of features that are super useful in IDE. Okay, my computer's fairly hefty, so it's able to compile this really fast. If it takes a bit longer on your computer, don't fret. That's pretty normal. IDEs do take up a lot of processing power. So, but if we need to make another file over here, right, we can just simply do that. Hit run hit new file, new Java class, other file. And what we can do over here, we can make another main method. Let's go ahead and do sout again. Another file. And notice over here, if I hit this button over here, it's going to run hello. It's not going to print out another file. Now, why is that? Well, because over here it says, hi, if you hit this button, you are going to run the hello program. In order to run the other file, you got to tell it you want to run the other file. So either hitting Shift F10 will run the most recent thing. Control Shift F10 will run the thing that you're currently in. Or again, if you just want to click on nice shiny buttons, then hit the nice shiny button and it will run. These things are wonderfully easy. They make your job a whole lot easier. So I'm all for making this as easy as possible. All right, so that's IntelliJ.